Let's get to Tanae McKeel, who's got some sense here in terms of the importance of this company, its role in the market, and just sort of trying to understand what it is they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, you can see from those indications the way the appetite for a company like this has really grown since last week. Bullish is a crypto exchange. That's how I hear it talked about a lot, but they also are the parent of CoinDesk. They, are in the business of data and indexing and events, of course. And I think it's really interesting at this point in time. Of course, we're seeing yet another crypto company try to take advantage of the crypto-friendly stance from the Trump administration by going public. We saw eToro recently, Circle, of course, the uplisting of Galaxy Digital. But I think also to the point that you guys were making in that clip, the idea of tokenization is just becoming a lot more real. We've heard Larry Fink from BlackRock talk about that as an important step to the technological revolution of finance, the tokenization of everything. We've seen BlackRock, start to put things like money market funds on a blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain specifically. And I've been going to these conferences for years and years as a crypto reporter, hearing all of these institutions talk about the future of tokenization, but it really is starting to feel more real. And so Bullish is a little bit different from exchanges like Binance and Coinbase in that it is more institutionally focused, and it does kind of blend, decentralized finance protocols with the security of a centralized company.
They're spending, I think, $1 billion on the stable coins that they're going to be buying. They're using Solana as the rails, not Ethereum. I don't know. Are we going to see more? Is there just even more coming?
I think so. And I go back to BlackRock, which you remember really took the lead when it came to Bitcoin ETFs. For 10 years, the crypto industry said it was so important to have a Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock jumps in and we get it months later. And so I think you're seeing the same thing with tokenization. It's just starting to become a much more productive conversation versus, yes, that makes sense and sounds important, but this is finance and it's highly regulated and these things do not happen overnight. I do think Tom Farley said that these things don't happen overnight, but I do think it's becoming a much more productive conversation, and you are going to start to see some real integration, and especially after, the SEC recently announced Project Crypto to be able to reassess the rules and regulations to be able to bring the traditional finance world on chain, so to speak.
Yeah, we did talk to Farley a bit about, certainly BlackRock's U-turn is essentially what it was, but also the things that Jamie Dimon had said about Bitcoin in the past, Charlie Munger had said about, the institutions had sort of negative qualitative things to say, and yet they're all participating now.
Yeah, sort of the future, however you think of it, is moving in this way, and it kind of feels like the institutions are finally waking up to the fact that they're having to move forward.
My question is it getting crowded out there? Bullish, you mentioned eToro. We'll talk to the CEO next hour. Robinhood, I guess they cater more toward retail.
Yes.
Versus institutional.
And there are institutional services there, of course. Coinbase provides the custody for so many of the ETFs, but they are, in terms of the exchange and trading business, where you're trading actual cryptocurrencies, a little bit more focused on the retail investor.
All right. Tanae, thank you.